new product that was introduced to us. We rolled it out March 1. And right now we're very excited. We have now made 550 new households, borrowers, homeowners in the state of Tennessee from this product. So we're very excited about that. Let's go through here, the PowerPoint here. The funds that we're using for this HHFDPA is some of the leftover TARP money. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar, but we had the hardest hit fund program that was monies that was given to us by the federal government to administer throughout the state of Tennessee to people who had a reduction in income or who lost their jobs during the crash. We were able to, I think, take the last application for that program in 2015, and we're excited that there were a lot of other states, for whatever reason, put money back into the pool, and we were able to go in and come up with a program to utilize some of these funds to help stabilize communities throughout the state of Tennessee. What we do is we go in and we offer a $15,000 down payment assistance to 55 different zip codes throughout the state. I want you guys to understand that these 55 zip codes are not in distressed or poor areas, what a lot of people think. What I like to say is to help stabilize areas that have not quite come back from the crash. Because some of these zip codes you guys will see today are in strong areas, okay? They just need a little bit more help to get us to the place that Nashville is, and some places of Knoxville, and some places of Chattanooga. And even areas of Memphis that have done well. What we've done is we've taken these zip codes and we've put these funds in there. Let's go ahead and go here. It is a second mortgage. It's $15,000. It's a 10-year term with 20-year forgiveness. There is no payment and no interest on this loan. Okay? No payment, no interest. Okay, since I did not get the enthusiasm I thought I was going to get when I said no interest and no payment, I'm going to go back and we're going to treat this like an infomercial. So when I say this, I want a little bit more enthusiasm. Okay?
All right, bring it on.
It's a second mortgage, 10-year term, 20-year forgiveness through years 6 through 10, no payment.
Woo! All right, okay.
All right.
Where do I sign? Where do I sign?
I say that because we do not have to use that in their ratios. So this helps people qualify for more house, okay? It is down payment and closing costs they can be used for, and like I said, it's in 55 zip codes. All right, they must qualify for our Great Choice Plus mortgage program. It must be purchased as an existing home in targeted zip codes. New construction does not qualify. New construction, of course, you guys know, would not need really much stabilization, okay? So we do not use those funds for that. Pre and post education is required. And when I say post here, post means the education that they will receive for home ownership or what to expect of home ownership after they buy it. Don't take this as post, meaning that they have to have education after they buy the home, okay? So what we've done is on our pre-education, if you guys are not familiar, all education is required with a THDA mortgage product. And there was a study done at Vanderbilt a few years ago that proved that that's their skin in the game. That people have a 45% less likely chance of foreclosure by going through a home buyer education course. I highly recommend that, even for people. Now you go back. Even for people. Okay.
I got it.
Okay, great. And the reason why I want to go over this is because in that post piece, the pre-education is about 6 hours. The post, you're going to have to add an additional 2 hours, okay? And there is a little bit of a cost added to that. It is required. Let's move forward. Now this is the criteria that we're looking for. They must be a first-time home buyer. They must meet our household income limit, and here in Shelby County, it's about $250,000. The household income limit is about $60,000 for 1 to 2 persons. 3 plus is about 70, somewhere around that. The acquisition cost limit is to $250,000. It must be a single-family residence, owner-occupied property, a score of 640, with a max ratio of 45%. So it's pretty generous. Okay, these are the targeted zip codes here throughout the state of Tennessee. Go ahead. This here is for East Tennessee, which we'll move on. This is for Middle Tennessee. and this is for West Tennessee. You guys see here Madison County. I want you guys to know that Madison County happens to be one of our targeted counties. Many years ago, probably around the 1980s, there were areas in which they tried to incentivize home ownership. And Madison County happened to be one of those. And because of that is what we consider a targeted county, where you do not have to be a first-time home buyer, okay? So that means someone can actually be living in anywhere actually, but they can live in Madison County, sell their home, turn around, take advantage of this product if they buy it in those zip codes in that county, okay? So it's a very strong product in an area like that. Now keep in mind, there are some of these other zip codes that may be in what we consider census tracts. And census tracts are areas within these zip codes that may be what we consider distressed at one time, and those people are also exempt. There's a place on our website where you can find those, but I do know Madison County as a whole, you do not have to be a first-time home buyer. You have a question?
Can you point to Madison County?
Can I point to it?
Does anyone know where Madison County is?
Where
It's
is
Jackson.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Thank you.
So keep that in mind. You can go ahead. All right, and that's what I was talking to you guys about. This is the IRS targeted areas they exempt from the first-time home buyer rule. I just want you guys to understand that those zip codes that I had up there doesn't necessarily mean they're exempt just because they're up there. What that means is those are the zip codes in which you can take advantage of this $15,000, but it does not necessarily mean that you can get by or exclude yourself from the first-time home buyer rule. Only in census tract areas, and like I said, in Madison County. So please keep that in mind. If you guys have any questions about that, contact me, and I'll be more than happy to find out if it's in one of those census tracts or in a targeted county.
When you say the IRS target area exemption, what is that?
What it was is IRS many years ago, like I said, probably around the 1980s, they actually went in around the country and looked at certain areas that they wanted to incentivize home ownership in rural and urban communities. And what they did is they just went in and said, hey, these areas need a push, so we're gonna, any type of first-time home buyer product that's offered in those areas, you do not have to be a first-time home buyer, okay? So they exempt them from that rule. Problem is they did that back in the 1980s, it's never been changed. So to kind of give you an example, in Davidson County, in Nashville, where I'm from, there's a lot of these census tract areas around Davidson County, they're in gentrified areas. So they're hot areas today, but they may not have been back in the 1980s. So needless to say, a lot of people are taking advantage of this product in those areas. Because in Nashville, the acquisition cost limit is $375, and the income limits are also higher. So keep that in mind. That is a very strong program for those people that are in those areas. All right. Like I mentioned earlier, we have the pre and post education. It is required. It is required prior to closing. You can take it online or in person. If you take it in person, you will receive your certificate the day that you finished of completion. Now what will happen is if you have to take the pre and the post for this program, then you will be added an additional 2 hours usually. Our pre is about 6, and there'll be another 2 hours added for the post piece, okay? If you take it online, you will, in most cases, you will not receive your certificate until you have gone through a 1 hour presentation, or actually it's a 1 hour, what would you call it, a meeting with your counselor. Okay, so what they will do is they'll call you either on the phone, via Skype, or in person, and that's just for 1 hour. You'll receive your certificate at that time, and there'll be another 2 hours added to that.
Yeah. A question for you, is United Housing part of the educational
Yes.
for THDA? Where else do you have classes?
We have them throughout the state, and they're on our website. I'm not sure exactly where it is here in the Memphis area. I do in Nashville. What I will do is when we leave here, we'll go on the site and I'll show you guys. Okay? All right? So, again, it's an additional 2 hours of education for the post-education. It is $149 if they take it online, okay? Usually it's about $99 for the online class, and it's additional $50 for the additional post-education, okay? Now, if they take it in person, That varies. The cost could be, in some areas it's free. Some areas it's $25, some area may be $50. Just remember, you're gonna have to add another $50 to that cost for the post-education, okay? Go back, I'm sorry. If they if it's added to the LE, they can get those funds back. Are you aware of that?
LE is loan estimate.
The loan estimate. If it's added to the loan estimate, they can get that education monies back at closing, okay? Just like you would an appraisal or credit report. All right. No net funds to borrow at closing, and a certificate will be issued for this. The certificate that's issued actually will state on it that is for the pre and post education, okay? Because again, we have another program, our Great Choice Plus, which just takes the pre-education. Okay. Let's see here. We've kind of gone over this here, the 1 hour counseling, like I just told you guys. They're going to ask you some test questions on that 1 hour counseling and some things about budgeting. That's what that's for. Because when someone takes it online, we want to be sure they've actually gone through it. Okay? Go ahead and move forward. And I just mentioned to you guys about 8 hours total. On our website, it will state combo if you have to take the pre and post, so keep that in mind. If it's for pre for the Great Choice Plus, it'll be on there as just a homebuyer education class. It'll say combo if it's for the pre and post. All right, just like this here. All right, and that's a certificate, kind of an example of it. All right, this here we don't have to worry about now, but at the time, if someone would have taken the pre-education, a lot of people don't know this, but at THDA, if you take the pre-education, it's good for a year. So someone who's taken that, say, 6 months ago, they don't have to take that again. They just take the $50 post-education piece, okay? All right, and these are some flyers and so forth that we do co-branding with. And the reason why they're up there is because for any of you that are in the real estate or mortgage business, keep in mind that Treasury monitors these funds here, and they make sure that we utilize a certain type of marketing material. So be sure you contact me if you need any type of joint marketing material for this program. All right. Customer account managers, Ella Harris is no longer with us. She just retired. Daryl Robertson and Toomey Stacy is the one that works in Nashville. I just hired, I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with Lydia Smith. She is now on board with me. She's from Memphis area, and she's one of the customer account managers here. Okay? But if you need to contact anyone right now, you can contact me about this program. Okay? Now, is there any questions about this program?
Too many string attached.
What'd you say?
Too many string attached. 18 over. I don't want my mother-in-law to be a co-owner. I don't want my son or daughter to be a co-owner. They're gonna eat my house.
Okay. I'll keep this in mind. That's a good question. If we count all household income on those income limits I was telling you guys about, we count all that household income.
Everybody's in the house.
Absolutely, towards our income limit. So, if over the age of 18, if someone is over the age, if it's a son or daughter of someone over the age of 18, if they're in college full time, or in some cases high school full time, we will exempt them. We will not count their income. But anyone else, we will count their income over the age of 18.
Can you define a first-time home buyer?
Yes, yes, and that's a very good one. First-time home buyer is someone who has not owned and occupied their primary residence in the past 3 years. The key word there is occupied. So let's say, for an example, you had someone that moved here from Detroit. They couldn't sell their home up there, but they've lived here in Shelby County for the past 3 years. If we can prove that they have lived here for 3 years, they can actually take advantage of our program, our Great Choice and our Great Choice and our HHF DPA program. Okay?
You gave a minimum credit score.
Mm-hmm. 640.
So if somebody does not have good credit,
Mm-hmm.
might they be reluctant to take the class, although the class gives them great credit skills?
No, and I'll tell you, I'm glad you brought that up. I'll get a lot of calls from a lot of people who have actually taken the class not knowing where their credit score was. I guess sometimes they take things out of order. They've taken the class and they called me back, found out later that they cannot qualify. And they've all told me this is the best class they've ever taken, okay? This class is very good to teach people about budgeting, It's very good to teach people about prioritizing and so forth. So I highly recommend the class. I tell people this all the time. If it was left up to me, I would require this class for every first-time home buyer, no matter whether you're going FHA or conventional. It is a wonderful program. It really is.
Besides the class, the education classes, do you have a credit counselor there that can be called for any type of advisory moves?
We have a department there at THDA that handles this. Now, of course, we administer this program through our partners. But any questions that you have on that, I'll give you their name and number. There's actually it's Jana Johnson. She handles that division there at THDA, and she can handle any questions you have.
I noticed, I was reading, or looking at the zip codes. So if I'm one zip code over, I can't qualify.
Right. But you can't qualify for our Great Choice Plus, which is 5% down payment assistance.
Oh, okay.
That's our signature program, okay?
But you do have to be a first-time home buyer.
You still have to be a first-time home buyer, yes. But that's our signature
Based on the
program.
criteria you mentioned that Joe asked you about.
Yes, the criteria is still the same for the Great Choice Plus as it is for the HHF program. You just get 5% down payment assistance, and that is a 30-year second mortgage with no interest and no payment, okay? So if you sell or refinance in the next 30 years, you have to pay that one back. This one here, starting in year 6.
15,000. The 15,000 it starts going away after year 6 until year 10
Exactly.
it goes totally away.
Yes. Yeah, it has a 10-year term. The Great Choice Plus is a 30-year term.
Were you
That's
here
the
when we
5%.
cheered?
Yes, I just still think it's too good to be true.
Oh, I know a lot of people. This card here on the back, if you flip it around, it'll show you how that